You just got home from work. You haven't even put your bag down yet, and your dog is already on you, licking your hands, your face, your ankles, whatever they can reach. You laugh. You pull back. Maybe you say, okay, that's enough. And they look at you like you just said the most confusing thing in the world. Most people assume it's simple. Love, affection, maybe your face just tastes good. But what's actually happening in your dog's brain when they lick you? The neuroscience, the evolutionary biology, the behavioral psychology is so much stranger and so much more meaningful than that. There are at least 5 completely different things your dog might be saying when they lick you, and most owners can only read one of them. By the end of this video, you'll be able to read all 5. Let's start with the most popular explanation, because it's the one you've probably heard and it's mostly wrong. Dogs lick you because your skin tastes salty. It sounds reasonable. We sweat. Sweat has salt. Dogs like salt. Done. Except here's the problem. Dogs have far fewer salt taste receptors than humans do. And here's the strange part. In humans, salt receptors run all the way around the tongue, including the tip. In dogs, there are no salt receptors at the tip of the tongue at all, just 2 small strips along the sides. If licking was primarily about salt, dogs would have evolved to be better at tasting it. They didn't. So that's not the main reason. And here's another thing that breaks the salt theory completely. Dogs lick you just as much right after you shower as they do after a run. They lick you in the morning before you've done anything. They lick strangers. They lick your tears. Salt is a small part of it, but it was never the whole story. To understand why your dog licks you, you have to go back to the very beginning of their life. The moment a puppy is born, before it has opened its eyes, before it has taken a single step, the first thing it feels is its mother's tongue. Mother dogs lick their puppies immediately after birth to clean them, to warm them, to stimulate their breathing. In the first few weeks of life, puppies can't even urinate or defecate on their own. Their mother has to lick them to trigger those functions. Licking, from the very first second of life, means, I see you, I care about you, you are safe. That's what gets wired into the brain. But it goes even deeper than that. Because dogs descended from wolves, and wolf pups have a behavior that seems a little strange until you understand why. When a wolf returns to the den after a hunt, the pups rush forward and lick the adult's mouth and muzzle, frantically, repeatedly. They're not just saying hello, they're asking for food. In wolves, this triggers the adult to regurgitate partially digested meat, a way of bringing food back to pups who can't hunt yet. Your dog doesn't actually expect you to bring up your lunch, but that instinct is still there, buried deep in their behavioral wiring. Alexandra Horowitz, a professor of dog cognition at Barnard College, put it this way: when your dog licks you as you walk through the door, it's a greeting and also just a little bit of a request for whatever you just ate. So the next time your dog goes straight for your face when you come home, they're saying hello. And they might also be checking the menu. Here's where it gets genuinely fascinating. Because licking isn't one behavior, it's a language. And the meaning changes completely depending on the context. The first kind is affection. When your dog licks you with a relaxed body, soft eyes, a loose wagging tail, this is love in the most literal neurological sense. Research has confirmed that licking releases endorphins in the dog's brain, the same chemicals associated with pleasure and calm. It also triggers a dopamine surge, the brain's reward signal. Your dog doesn't just enjoy being near you. Licking you actually makes them feel good at a chemical level. And it works in both directions. When a dog licks you, your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the same one that floods a parent's brain when they hold their newborn. The dog feels it. You feel it. It's a neurochemical loop of connection that crosses species lines. The second kind is information gathering. Your skin is a data source. Dogs have up to 300 million olfactory receptors compared to our 6 million, but taste and smell work together. When your dog licks your hands, your face, your legs after you've been somewhere, they're reading where you've been, what you touched, what you ate, who you were with. You came home from the gym? They know. You petted someone else's dog? They definitely know. You're stressed? They can taste the cortisol in your sweat before you've even registered it yourself. The third kind is appeasement. This one most people miss completely. In canine social groups, lower-ranking dogs lick the faces of higher-ranking ones as a gesture of peace. It says, "I'm not a threat. We're good. I respect you." When your dog licks you gently on the chin or the cheek, sometimes with their head slightly lowered, slightly averted, they may not be being affectionate. They may be being diplomatic. The fourth kind is empathy. A 2023 study published in Evolutionary Human Sciences found that dogs can read human facial expressions and respond to emotional distress by licking. When owners showed sadness or negative emotions, dogs were significantly more likely to lick them, an expression of comfort that mirrors the nurturing licks they received as puppies. Your dog doesn't have words for, "I can see you're hurting," but they have this. The fifth kind is anxiety relief, and this one matters. The repetitive motion of licking activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It literally slows the stress response down. For anxious dogs, licking becomes a coping mechanism, a self-soothing behavior that calms them the same way fidgeting or pacing might calm a nervous human. Ellen Furlong, an associate professor of psychology and neuroscience at Transylvania University who studies dog cognition, says, "If we want to distill it down to one thing, it's communication. But there are lots of different things dogs might be communicating through a lick. The context is everything, the same behavior, 5 completely different meanings. Here's the piece that I think changes how you experience every lick from here on out. In 2017, researchers at the University of Lincoln and the Federal University of Rio Grande do Norte published a study on mouth licking in dogs. They showed dogs images of human faces happy, angry, neutral, while playing different emotional audio. When dogs saw angry human faces, they licked their lips more. Specifically when looking at humans, not at dogs. The audio alone didn't trigger the same response. It had to be the visual. What this tells us is extraordinary. Dogs aren't just reacting to your mood, they are actively trying to communicate with you about it. When a dog sees an angry human and licks their mouth, researchers believe they're sending a signal, the same social calming signal they'd send in a tense encounter with another dog. Your dog can read your face, and when they see something they don't like, when they see you upset or tense or angry, they try to fix it. With a lick, Professor Daniel Mills of the University of Lincoln, who co-authored that study, said the findings suggest dogs have a functional understanding of emotional information, not just sensing moods, understanding them, and responding to them. Most licking is completely normal, but there are times when licking is telling you something is wrong. If your dog suddenly starts licking obsessively floors, furniture, their own paws, or you, and it's out of character, that's a signal. Compulsive licking that appears out of nowhere can indicate anxiety, pain, nausea, allergies, or neurological issues. Veterinary researchers have identified it as one of the early behavioral markers of underlying health problems appearing before other symptoms make the cause obvious. Excessive licking of one specific area of their own body, same spot, every time is almost always worth a vet visit. And licking directed at you that suddenly becomes frantic, unable to stop, day and night, that's often anxiety, not affection. The distinction matters because the response is different. Affection licking needs warmth. Anxiety licking needs help. As always with dogs, behavior is the only language they have. When something changes, something is being communicated. Your job is to listen. So, the next time your dog rushes at you, the second you walk through the door, climbing over whatever is in the way, covering you in the most enthusiastic greeting you're probably going to get all day, remember what's actually happening. That lick that hits you before you've even put your keys down, that's 15,000 years of evolution. It's the same instinct that got wired in when a mother wolf licked her pups in the cold dark of a den. It's a neurochemical event happening in both your brains simultaneously. It's your dog reading your face, checking if you're okay, and telling you in the only language they have that they're glad you're back. It's not just slobber. It never was. If this changed how you see your dog's licking, subscribe and drop a comment. What's the weirdest place or moment your dog has ever licked you? And if you want to understand why your dog follows you from room to room, even to the bathroom, that video is next. And the science behind it is going to surprise you.